me because I got a card show coming up, and I brought some cards that we're gonna have for sale. We're gonna show here at the end of the episode. But we got Scotty Melvin sitting here, and I thought maybe we could talk a little bit about first this game, and then maybe a little bit about the tornado he was in, and then we're gonna talk a little football after that. So, Scotty, I got some news about this. We're playing Cardinal here. This is a junior high game. You guys have had, you've been very successful in getting games rained out this year.
Yeah, kids have put in a lot of practice and not very many games due to weather. That's just the nature of it.
And we're on the backside. There's a couple weeks of baseball left. And hence why we're going to be talking a little bit about football coming up. We've got a little bit of a challenge here as this Cardinal team comes in. Cardinal pretty good at baseball.
They're very good.
You know, as is Fairfield.
If you're paying attention to high school at all, you see two good programs on that level between Fairfield and Cardinal, so I expect nothing less from the junior high squad here.
And F. Kibbs is...
I don't know any of the Cardinal players.
Well, anyway, the pitcher I know is coming off a no-hitter against Cigarette. Okay. So he's pitched 3 times. He just pitched a complete game no-hitter, so going to be some good pitches. I do know he told me, he says, I just throw fastballs. I don't have secondary pitches. So if you tell your boys, you know, that there's going to be fastballs, and you can lean in on that and get to swinging, but I got a feeling he's got some pretty good velocity.
Well, at this level, and you know this being a baseball guy, I think that's about all you really want your kids to focus on is the ball they get over the plate, and if it's working, don't go away from it. We get a little cute out there sometimes with our battery that they want to throw a breaking ball in a bad spot, things like that. Stuff that drive Coach Mondia nuts. But you want to get it over the plate. Let your defense back you up if they make contact, and that's about all there is to it.
Just throw strikes, baby. Yes. I know you've had some very successful players, but the junior varsity has called up several of your better players. I don't know if I know you'd hit some home runs earlier in the season and things I'd heard about, and so I'm sure the kids that were on the bench aren't unhappy. No, they're on the field. But let's talk about this game. Tell us a little bit about this game. Who are you pitching? Maybe what are some of the areas you've been working on to try and improve? And what are you thinking about this game?
I think I don't know who he's starting today. I don't know if he told you who that was.
I haven't got the lineup from him yet.
I did see we've got Dagan Mondia back with us today, so that'll be good. That'll be a little boost with a little bit older experience. He had been with the JV, but we've got a handful of good pitchers. On down into our 7th graders, so I'm not too worried about that as long as, like I said, they don't try to get too cute, throw the ball over the plate, or lean on their fastballs. But I think what we've been working on mostly, and there's not much opportunity this week practice-wise because we've got 4 games this week out of the 5 days. Situational baseball, not like that. That's something we've been harping on. And even I'm guilty sometimes when we're over there at first base missing a sign or two. So, as you know, I'm a new coach myself.
Yeah, this is your first year.
But we're having a lot of fun, and the kids are, they do pretty well for middle school.
Well, I think that the 4 games in a row this week will get you some consistency, some consistence at bats, some good time on the field. You got an A game and a B game. We're just doing the A game tonight, but we're looking for a pretty great game out of this, and the Trojans have had some success already. Before we transition into talking a little about some other things, I want to say that Fairfield has more success in baseball than they do in basketball and football in recent years. Although the basketball's been a little up and down as they had a real good year the year before. But football also on the rise. Completely on the rise there. Oh, jeez.
The phone call.
I'll have to call you back here. But anyway, where was that? Well, anyway, so I got a feeling that, and maybe Cardinal is a bit of a mirror image of what you guys got going on here. Cardinal is a school that maybe has better Little League, better Babe Ruth,
possibly,
better junior high coaching, better JV coaching, you know, that's helping to produce this stuff.
Sports, I thought, you know, summer's here, I have my license, the opportunities to go for or something, I didn't care. So I actually interviewed over at Cardinal for a high school position, just to test the waters. And at that time, they had Nick Coble, a young coach from Waco, stepping in to take the manager, head coach position. They had nobody else on the staff at that time. And I told them, look, I'm inexperienced, especially with baseball. So it's been a long time. I haven't played or anything. I don't watch much of it, to be honest, but I always love playing it. I got the feeling that they were like a smaller school version with him at the helm, and the players that have returned and stuff, like what we see here at Fairfield with Coach Allison, with a very tight ship. I mean, it is like being in a factory with Kaizen implementation here. You saw us working on the grounds and things like that. He gave us a lot of instruction on that, so we can take care of this beautiful field a little better than what we did the other night. And so I think you've got just a couple of different sized schools that are kind of mirrors of each other in the way they take pride in what they're doing here with baseball.
All right. Well, since it's kind of a short interview, let's talk a little bit about you've been working with the Pekin Panthers football team, and you do have a coaching job with the Pekin Panthers.
Yeah, I'm still a volunteer, and that's fine because I'm brand new to this, but I'm happy to have the opportunity to work with that staff up there. It's very experienced, very well put together staff, good returning core players, just a culture that I wanted to learn from. So when I decided I was going to pursue this, coaching youth sports or high school sports or whatever, that was one that I was interested in getting involved in if I could to learn. And I've enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to fall. You know, I love football season.
But so, you were helping out with the weight program in the morning, and you got a little wind, a little swirl, a little.
Yes.
You might have wound up in Kansas, kind of.
The flats of Packwood, they're notorious, right?
It is flat.
I don't know if it's the
it
one
is
way
flat.
up there.
The wind can really whip it up there.
It says, "Give me the tornadoes here," you know, and yeah, we got trapped in one there. There was no warning. Nothing went off on the phones. Of course, we're not out of town. There's not going to be a siren, so. We're monitoring things best we could, and we knew a storm was coming in. It's raining hard, but when it came down or touchdown, which we weren't sure what was happening at the moment, yeah, it got a little sketchy there for about 40 seconds or so, and we did all we could do, which was huddle together and wait it out. And thankfully, the building stayed together mostly.
And your car did not.
My car did not, along with probably, I don't know, maybe 10 others. I know. The coach lost a couple windows, debris was flying, and it smashed some windows out there in the parking lot, but you know, that we'll take that. Nobody was hurt, a little scary, but you know, that kind of stuff kind of can tighten the crew up.
Well, it could lead to a little unity later. Tell me a little bit about the Pekin Panthers. Well, I want to say something about Packwood that a lot of people maybe don't know, but did you know the soil around Packwood is the 5th most rich soil on the earth?
I did not know that. That would explain the
looks so dirt. If you ever drive by it, you'll see how black that dirt is. But you got a football season come up.
Yeah.
Now, you got a young man named Henry Adams, and I was watching him pitch, and I've been watching him hit home runs and grand slams and doubles and lightning fastball that he's got and everything. But he's an excellent football player. I believe he's an all-state player. Tell me a little bit about, Henry Adams and what he can do for the Pekin Panthers and what you coaches can do to help him be all they can be.
And I'm just getting to know these kids personally. Now, Henry, I've watched play since he was a freshman. I first saw him starting for the Panthers in what I would call that first real big step forward season Pekin had. He was a freshman, and his brother Will was a junior at quarterback there. And Columbus was kind of running the district for a couple of years. And I knew that he was going to be something special because of how tough he was. He wasn't very big. And now that he's headed to his senior year, he's packed on. He looks like a young man, and he's strong, he's stout, he's fast, and he does everything correctly. He's kind of I wouldn't say a quiet kid necessarily, but he's certainly not a loud kid. He kind of exudes leadership because of just the way he carries himself, and he's a good kid to be around, a good kid to have on your team. I think every coach wishes they had one or more Henry Adam, but that entire club's a bunch of good kids, and so are these kids here. That's why I do it, Dave. I do a podcast for the kids. I love the kids, so
everybody knows you love
the
this.
middle schoolers can drive me a little nuts, but
I can understand that.
It's fun.
There's a Fairfield transplant to Pekin School, and his name is Zandrick Allison, and he was playing in that game last night. And I said, wow, this is a big body. Now, I know he likes to run the ball. Henry likes to run the ball. You got some other guys over there. How can we balance Zandrick Allison's? And it looked like to me, I could get out in front of him and lay some blocks down. And I don't know, you had little summer scrimmages. I don't know how much time you got.
I think they did a 7-on-7. I was in Alabama on vacation that week. Otherwise, I would have ran up and watched that in Iowa City, I think, or something like that. But right now, summer workouts. There's weightlifting. There's an install of things that the teams are going to do. Every team's doing this, this stuff. And yeah, Zandrick and Henry, they remind me a lot of each other as far as the way they're built, the way they play, carry themselves, strength in the weight room, all that stuff. They'll be a nice compliment to each other. That's what I can tell you. They'll be a nice compliment.
I cannot wait to see that. We could just pick apart every player on this team, but I'd kind of like to get your thoughts on maybe the broader picture of high school football, and then I want to make a big announcement about how we're going to be covering high school football this year.
Since I'm getting involved in coaching, I probably won't talk much in detail, at least not about Class A. Because I give nothing away, right? But the broader picture, looking into this fall, this kind of reminds me of the last 2 years. We started the podcast stuff.
It'll be 6 years ago this football season.
We kind of knew those first 2, maybe 3 years, like who was going to be the big leader of the area in each class or the couple or whatever. There weren't a lot of question marks. You had the Waco and you had the Winfield coming behind them in 8-man and so on and so forth. The Wilton team that we thought was going to. We didn't know Wilton was going to the Dome last year, though. I had no idea. And so there was a lot of unknowns, and the way things play out are really fun to watch that process. So we've got new coaches coming on in some spots I didn't expect, like Keokuk or whatever. Some coaches that are now should be firmly in place, like Coach Webb down in Burlington. West Burlington seems to be moving along well. They've got some good guys coming back, some young guys that are going to be stellar athletes in multiple sports that are maybe not even upperclassmen yet, but they've got a year under their belt. I don't know who's going to be the big story this year, and it's going to be fun to watch all that. Having said that, I'm going to be on the sideline due to one team in particular. So
you're going to be you're not going to be on the broad.
I'm not going to be able to talk about it.
I've got some announcements to make here. If you have wondered why we haven't been scampering all over southeast Iowa to cover every team under the sun, and a different team every night, and keeping you up on the broad scope. One of the reasons is I had a little health problem with my pancreas, was not working as well as it should have been, and it was really draining me out. But I do have a monitor on there, and for the last 7 days, Scotty, I've not been out of range once.
Yep.
I'm around 130 or something right now as we're sitting here talking.
I'm sitting here as a guy that's in fairly decent shape for my age, and monitor my how I eat, and I train in the gym, and I try to get a lot of steps every day walking. We talk about that, how important it is. And blood sugars, whether you're diabetic or not, is something everybody should be kind of keeping a little bit of an eye on or being aware of. And it can change how you feel pretty darn quick.
Well, it does. It's been maybe a little more clear-headed as we move on through here. But that's kind of the reason why I'm not. And I've also found a home here with the Fairfield Trojans, and really audience is really building up. We broke the 400 subscribers. We need to get to 500 to be monetized.
Cool. Yeah.
But 400 is getting there.
It is.
And the audience, we broke the record last week for the most views. With the Central DeWitt game, which was a terrific 8-7 game in extra innings. Football and how I'm going to cover it, I think what I'm going to do is I'm planning on trying to work a deal here with the athletic director here at Fairfield, and let me use that air-conditioned little room that they've got, like they've got this air-conditioned little room, which would be a nice quiet room. And I'm going to plan on bringing in big hitters like Brad Rose and Mike Daly, and Full Colonel Don Mazinski, maybe Scotty Melvin to come sit with me, and while that game's going on in the background, we'll be giving you content on that game. I will be having people, and we'll be doing the JV opener all the way through the game, and then after the game, we're going to convene to a spot somewhere, and we'll do the scoreboard show.
Now myself, not that I want to take myself out of it, I will be practically living this fall at Pekin High School.
I
So,
understand all that, but we could maybe, get a.
You might get me on the phone.
Might get you on the phone, or if we can figure out this yard stream thing and get you a headset, we could have a quick, and you could give, it's not like our listeners are not going to know what's going on at the Pekin game.
Sure.
And you can give us a quick update report on that, but it's good. I also want to say it's good to have you back in Fairfield.
Yeah, it's good to be
But
here.
I do think when you lived in the Burlington area, I saw you more than I have since you moved back.
That's because I got myself so busy here. I might have bit off more than I could chew these first couple months of summer.
I get what
that's all
you're
right.
saying.
That's all
But
right.
I don't have anything else for you. I took up a little bit more than 15 minutes of your time. I know you're getting ready for this game, and we're going to bring you this game. But I just thought since Scotty was here, and everybody likes to hear from him and see what's going on, and hopefully we'll have 2 weeks to remember here over the next 2 weeks. And it does look like I might be able to give you some of these JV games. We do the varsity games. We've got sponsors to cover that. But if you want to become a friend of Round Guy Radio, I'll do these junior high and JV games or whatever for you for my cost, which is $30. So if you want to sponsor a game for $30, I can come back and do the rest of these games. Just let me know which one. There's some 9:30 in the morning games. These are good times for me to get some content and get going.
I like this midday, yeah.
You got anything to say before we let you go?
Nope, good to see you. Good to be back doing a little of this stuff. It's hard to get a hold of me these days, and there may be a little lull midsummer here, but once football really starts picking up in August, I will be it'll be as though I don't exist again. Probably.
Thanks for being with us. We'll get you the game here pretty quick.
Okay, Dave.